Coming up here on the show, he trained with Al-Qaeda to kill Americans, and now this U.S.-born terrorist is fighting to have group prayer behind bars. Does he deserve that right?
Well, he trained to kill Americans. Now American-born terrorist John Walker Lindh of Marin County, California, is suing so he can have group prayer 5 times a day while serving his 20-year prison sentence. Lindh claims he's being denied his right to religious freedom. Joining me now is Dr. Zuhdi Jasser. He's president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy, the author of the book, A Battle for the Soul of Islam, an American Muslim patriot's fight to save his faith. He's also a military veteran and a physician and an all-around great guy. Zuhdi, thanks a lot for joining us.
It's great to be with you, Tucker.
So to be clear, Lindh is not being denied his right to pray. He's allowed to pray and does, presumably. He is asking for something else. He's asking for corporate prayer. Explain what he wants.
Well, basically, Muslims are encouraged to pray in a group when we can. When there's more than one Muslim around, you try to pray in group, but this is not a mandatory. Even Lindh himself, Tucker, said it's not mandatory, but he just didn't want to pray in his cell next to his toilet. And by the way, the Obama appointee, Judge Magnus Stimson, said that the state had a compelling interest in making sure he had the freedom to pray back in January. And the warden tried to do this. He gave him the ability to pray 3 times a day with a group. By the way, 41 prisoners in the unit he's in, 24 or so are Muslim. So imagine the security addition, the costs, the unfairness to the other prisoners. And this is all not about personal freedom, but somehow some group collective right. I mean, it's just absurd.
Right. So this is, as you just said, not just about one person. This is about a larger question, too, of whether prisons are incubators of religious extremism. I know you've done some work on this. Are they?
They really are. I mean, this is what's so bizarre, that the ACLU is really acting as useful idiots here, in that on the one hand, you had a Minnesota chapter of the ACLU that forced a charter school that's Islamic. I think appropriately, they ended up shutting down because they were compelling students to pray in group. Now the ACLU turns around and attacks the state for preventing prisoners from praying in group, when in fact, because the judge said that his interpretation of Islam had to be protected as his freedom. Well, remember, this guy's interpretation of Islam was to kill our fellow citizens on the battlefield, when he should have been, I think, killed in capital punishment for his crimes of treason. And yet we're protecting his group rights, where a lot of times the group rights of Islamists, radicals in prisons with imams and other things that have no oversight, are interpretations of Islam that breed radicalism, where they leave the prison and end up committing acts of crimes and terror against our society.
Does it strike you as odd that the same people who are helping Lindh in his lawsuit, the ACLU, spend an equal amount of time or more crushing expressions of religious sentiment in public creches, Christmas decorations? How does that work?
There is no consistency, and I really can't figure it out. It's almost as if they use cases to basically put the government in check and make sure that they're always preventing using the Muslim minority when it suits them. But then when personal religious freedoms in public, where people have not committed acts against the state, where they're basically free citizens, can't express their own personal faith. And I think it's a disconnect that shows that it's not about religious freedom for the ACLU, but rather an agenda against security interests and agenda against organized religion.
Very smart. Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, thanks a lot for joining us. It's an honor.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, it's a